Hello, Bigfoot enthusiast. Scott here from Squatch America.
And Hannah, domestic goddess, chief cook, and doggy mama in the panty wagon.
Hey, today we got a special treat for you guys today. I'm
I
not
don't know
talking.
how. Yeah, that is kind of special. Can you manage a whole hour without talking?
No, but I can. Try.
All right. All right. So, all right, play the intro and let's
What?
get on with this. This is crazy.
I'm not even ready for that. All right, today we were talking about belief.
And it looks like we have 7 people. A few of you have said hi to Terry and Greg and Michelle and Danny, Raptor, Angel. Go ahead before we get started. Click the like button if you haven't, and then leave your hands off of it because you're gonna love this.
Are you?
I don't know. Tell them. Should we tell them how this came about?
Okay, go ahead. I don't remember.
So
No.
on Monday, I asked him. So I think it was like roundabout Monday night, or I don't know, Monday morning. I said, so, because I knew we were going to be gone all day Tuesday and I wouldn't have time to do anything on Tuesday, which is when I usually send out the email. Hi, Kelly. And yes, we will see you in
10 days.
Are you kidding me?
I know. It's crazy.
Wait a minute. Well, we're going to be in Mentalene Falls like in 4 days.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Anyway, so I said, honey, what are we doing on Wednesday? Because he sends me the thumbnail and gives me the topic and does all the stuff for me. And then I put it all together in an email and send it out. And he looked at me and said, I have no idea. And then a few minutes later, I got the thumbnail. And and I said, what's this? And he says, you're doing the show on Wednesday. I went, what? He says, I have no idea what to talk about, so you get to do the show on belief. I went,
okay.
So that's how this show came about.
Yes.
And so I'm not going to apologize for anything, but I want you to know I've had about 42 minutes to prepare this.
So you want to see us under the gun? This is how we work.
This is how we work. I haven't told you to play yet. So
hi, Dawn.
Hi.
Did I say that?
No, but okay. Now we did. So one of the most frequent things that we encounter, it can go one of two ways. We get people who one of the most frequent questions we get when we're in parking lots or these shows we do, even on our social medias. Do you really believe he's out there? And we'll answer, well, no, we don't believe. We know. We've had encounters. We know. And they look at us either with fear, like yesterday, like I am never going hiking or camping again.
Yes.
Or people look at us like we have lost our ever-loving minds, which the jury is still out on. I mean, that's quite possible. Y'all know us. So that's one thing. Do you really believe he's out there? And then people have no idea what to do with us when we say we don't believe, we know. And I personally think it's because the word believe is stupid and the English language is just ridiculously simple. So we get that question. We also come across people who believe in Bigfoot, believe that it probably exists, but no matter what kind of where's my legal word? No matter what kind of like circumstantial evidence or strong suggestion or story or anything like that, it's a hoax. That didn't really happen. I don't believe it. I don't care what you show me. Until I see that body on the table, I'm not believing nothing. And it all comes down to the word believe. And so that's kind of where I wanted to go with this. I also want what was I gonna say? I'm
Words.
having menopause like crazy tonight. Um so that's kind of where I started. Oh, I know. That's where I started preparing this presentation from. And I want this to be a discussion. So um I don't want to just be a talking head. I don't think I have enough material to be a talking head. Shoot, no sound.
No, we got sound. People are answering us. I saw that.
Oh, can you guys hear us? Well, Kelly did. She heard 6 days.
Yeah.
Okay. I got concerned there. But we want questions in the chat. We want you to put our okay, great. Put our link up here so if people want to pop in later on, we can have them on camera.
Yeah, we'll do that in a second.
All right. So, all right, we're good on sound. All right. So now you can start this.
All right.
Here we go. And by the way, probably after the third slide, we'll have a commercial, and then we'll have a commercial later on. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So here's Hannah, MMMEMATMSW. She has letters.
I got lots of letters behind my name, and I just wanted to let you know I really am not talking out of my butthole.
Okay.
I am drawing on a lot of education and a lot of experience in psychology, behavior, and the education fields. Okay. All right. So, do you believe this is my thoughts on the intersection of belief with theory, fact, and experience in Bigfoot research? Does this sound like something I could present at a conference?
Sure, you could. Absolutely.
Well, I was accused of actually being a genuine researcher in Forks, so now I got to live up to that, right? Okay. All right. Click.
Okay. Clicking.
So tonight, here's what I want to cover. I want to briefly talk about the definitions of belief and paradigm. I want to talk about what happens when our paradigms are challenged. Then go into a little bit of conscious thought construction, and then look at how all this applies, not just in Bigfoot research, but in cryptid research as a whole. Because there's a lot more out there to explore than just Bigfoot. Just Bigfoot is the closest to our terrestrial experience. So, all right, we have a clip.
We have a clip. I don't know where it went, but I got it.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave.
How many of you love that movie? I love that movie so much. I honestly think that movie. Hey, go back to the comments. I want to see what people are saying. Okay. You're like totally behind the things. That is probably my favorite movie in all of history. Either that or Under the Tuscan Sun, which is like housewife porn. But no, I think The Matrix was the best movie ever made, and it really, really speaks to our existence as human beings. So you can cancel. Show us. You can show us. Oh. No, show us. There we go. You see, I had 42 minutes to prepare this, and you have no idea what we're doing. So, of course, in The Matrix, if you haven't seen it, one, what rock have you been living under? And two, go out and see it now. I don't know, download it, rent it, do whatever you need to do, and watch it. In The Matrix, you've got this character Neo, who is born into basically an AI simulation, and doesn't know that what he's living is not reality, but just an unconscious state of being that is feeding the machine, right? And Morpheus comes along and he offers him the red pill and the blue pill, and he wakes up to the truth and learns how to learns how to be apart from the game, learns how to manipulate the game, and then goes back and starts rescuing everyone. And then they made the 2 sequels that sucked rocks. All right, so anyway, that's kind of the plot of The Matrix, right? So, anyway, and I'm just going to say right now that I'm not going to talk about questions like eating deer, okay? Because that's really not the purview of my presentation. So I'm going to stay really focused on this. But now I want to start about talking about belief versus paradigm. So now you can go to the next slide. All right. So what is a belief? And I wanted to start here because the word believe has so many different interpretations. We hear the word believe primarily in religious circles, but we also hear it in societal constructs. And, well, I think, well, I believe, well, I feel that. All of those things are the same thing. So I wanted to use the word belief specifically. Belief, because of the movie The Matrix. So a belief is a conceptual mental program in the human ego. All of us who claim to be humans have an ego. And in psychological terms, the ego has a very specific function. First of all, when we're born, we don't have much of an ego. We have what Freud called id, and id is nothing concerned about nothing but meeting needs. I'm hungry, I'm going to go eat. I'm thirsty, I'm going to go drink. I'm cold, I'm going to go get warm. All those things. All right, that's the id. And the id can sometimes get us in trouble, right? Because it just cares about survival. What the ego does, it ensures our survival, but it ensures that it does it in a very safe and acceptable way. So whatever culture we are born into, from before we're born, we have these little egos that are starting to be programmed with right, with wrong, with what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, because that is what ensures our survival in our social system. We are rewarded for saying the right things, doing the right things, being the right kind of person. The ego ensures our survival in the social system. You covered my cute little face. It seeks to maintain security and safety, and that security and safety could be physical, could be social, could be emotional, could be financial. All those things are housed in the ego. Whatever we feel is most important to us, that is all very what we call egoic. Like I said, it's programmed in us from before birth by family, by community, by society. That includes church, that includes school, that includes politics, that includes all those things are part of our belief system. All right, you can go back to the slide. The collection of all of our beliefs, whatever collection of beliefs I have, whatever collection of beliefs Scott had programmed into him, what y'all have programmed into you, that comes together to become your paradigm or your worldview. And I just want you to take a minute and think about what your paradigm is. What do you believe about God? What do you believe about existence, how we came to be? What do you believe about why we're here? What do you believe about freedom? What do you believe about compliance and submission? What do you believe about government? What do you believe about family? What is important to you about education, about industriousness, about anything? That is your worldview. That is your paradigm. And when we have a paradigm in place, which all of us do, it entails deep, deep emotional attachment. It shapes our perception and experience of reality. It determines our decisions and our actions, how we move throughout the world. There's a very, very deep emotional and identity attachment to paradigm and worldview. And when we are in that paradigm and worldview, we have little use for questioning and little use for curiosity, because our belief system sets us up to have all the answers. What is Bigfoot? Bigfoot was a cute movie about something named Harry. And he got hit by a car and rode in an ugly station wagon. And, that was my understanding of Bigfoot. It was part of my paradigm that said God created the world in 6 days and he stopped creating. He created all the plants and animals and the planets and then on the 6th day he created Adam and Eve, and then he rested. He hasn't created anything more, and so Bigfoot's not a thing. That was my worldview. That's what was programmed into me. And so that's what I perceived as fact, as truth. And that was all there was. No curiosity, no questioning of that. Because if I were to question that, I would threaten my safety and security in my environment. And that the ego will not allow. So do we have an advertisement?
We do.
All right, let's go to an advertisement.
Okay, we're going to take a little break and let your brain
and think of questions.
Yeah.
Put your questions and your comments in the chat.
All right, so we want to talk about real quick of what's coming up. I've got a couple things. Next weekend, you can find us here in a place called Elgin, Oregon. There's the Eagle Cap train rides. You can actually just Google Eagle Cap train rides and look at their calendar and buy tickets if you'd like. It's the Seeking Bigfoot train. It'll be this Saturday. We will be on the train talking to people about Bigfoot and Bigfoot experiences in the area along the train ride, actually.
Yeah, he's going to change up his presentation.
Crazy. And then we'll be on the train to be able to, if you want to talk to us and stuff. And we'll be outside the train depot in the morning before the train leaves, and then we'll be there afterwards to continue talking with people
and to sell our t-shirts.
Yeah, and
we've got hundreds.
Yeah, we do. We had to downsize our we had to unload a bunch of stuff out of the camper this week and put it in our storage unit because we're close enough to our storage unit to be able to do that this week.
And we were 2,500 pounds overweight.
Yeah. So there's that. And so after that, we are headed to
Meadowline Falls. Woohoo!
Yes, for June 15th and 16th. And I think we have their thing.
The Meadowline Falls Bigfoot Festival returns to Pend Oreille County June 15th and 16th. Discover the rich history, folklore, and mystery. From Sasquatch-themed crafts to Bigfoot merchandise, a 5K fun run, and plenty of food. This event is guaranteed to leave you amazed and entertained. Hear from the county's experts about their Bigfoot sightings or sign up for the presenters dinner and talk with them firsthand. The Meadowline Falls Bigfoot Festival. For tickets and information, go to mf-bigfoot.com.
Awesome. So you can see us there. I hate when I have to scroll to get to these things, to switch between videos. And then the week after that, you can find us here in Baker City, Oregon. And this is the program that we're putting on ourselves, the Blue Mountain Bigfoot Fest. And it is June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
Get ready for an unforgettable weekend of mystery and excitement. Join us at the Blue Mountain Bigfoot Fest on June 22nd and 23rd in picturesque Baker City, Oregon. It's a 2-day extravaganza celebrating the legendary creature that has captured our imagination. Discover the beauty of the Blue Mountains while embracing the mystery of Bigfoot. Don't miss out on expert speakers, thrilling expeditions, a chance to share your own Bigfoot encounters, live music, delicious local cuisine, and a variety of family-friendly activities. Blue Mountain Bigfoot Fest, where the legend comes to life. Mark your calendars for June 22nd and 23rd, 2024, and make memories that will last a lifetime. Visit SquatchAmerica.com for tickets and information. See you there.
All right. And we do have dinner tickets still available. So please, that is the only paid event at the festival is on Friday the 21st. The entire festival is free. So make sure that you get your tickets now. We do want to pre-sell those. And the dinner, of course, is a fundraiser for the Fallen Outdoors.
Yep.
All right. So back to boring these fine people.
Sure, why not?
Let's go to the chat, see if we've got anyone asking any pertinent questions.
Nope,
no questions. Okay. All right. So think about something that's really rocked your boat, something that has really threatened your sense of security, that really threatened your belief system. I can think of 1,000 things, but I don't need to go into my own autobiography tonight. But this has direct applications to Bigfoot research. So go ahead and pop the slide up. All right, so when belief and paradigm is challenged, we get this a lot in fact, we get this a lot in reports. We got one recently where someone had an encounter. Who was talking? Oh, was it in one of our reports? Someone had an encounter. They were telling, it was like a third party report. He had an encounter like 30 years ago and hasn't been back in the woods since. Still to this day, sharing his encounter, you can see the hair on his arm stand up. You can see him start to shake, and he's still terrified. So obviously, whatever he encountered in the woods was enough of a threat to what he understood to be real that it just completely shut him down. And that's what happens when our beliefs and our paradigms are challenged. Because our egos are very easily threatened. Our feelers are really easily stepped on. We see that a lot these days. Safe spaces are super important because we can't have the feelers stepped on, right? I saw a funny thing about Gen X. Gen X is the way we are. Those of you who are in Gen X, yeah. We are the way we are because our teachers hyped a rocket launch that we were forced to watch, and then it exploded and all the astronauts died in front of us. No safe spaces, no hugs, no reassurance. It's just, well, now, all right, turn to page 87 in your textbooks, and we got an extra assignment that night.
Yeah.
So, no safe spaces for Gen X. Anyway, so our egos are very easily threatened, and when they are, boop, it is quite common for our for our nervous system to go nuts. And what happens is something that we call parasympathetic activation. And this is what happens. And that you don't have to have a physical encounter with something. You can just come to a point where you realize what you thought wasn't, or what you think isn't, or something that threatens your sense of who you believe yourself to be and what you believe the world to be like. I think we all experienced that in 2020. Everything that we found security in all of a sudden was ripped out from under us, and we had an entire globe in a state of shock, which is parasympathetic activation. And that can happen when someone presents you with new information. New information. Click new information.
Oh, that was the clue.
That was the clue. No. Where's your new information slide?
Oh, the new information. You never told me that was coming.
I didn't know that was.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm blathering about. I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
And when new shit comes to light, sometimes we're a little blinded by the light, right? Yeah. And we can go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. This is how our nervous system responds to challenge, to change, to anything that it perceives as a threat. Fight is defensive mode. You're totally wrong. You're full of.
Oh my gosh.
He's got great.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
That's fight. Flight is la 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 la. I can't hear you. I'm walking away from this. I don't want to talk about it. Freeze is don't confuse me with the facts. I know what I know. I don't care how many prints I see. I know what I know. And fawn is that You're not going to get into it. You're going to placate. You're just going to go on with your day. And however it expresses itself, however parasympathetic activation expresses itself, and it's happening from the very bottom of your brain, by the way. So it's that primal survival center that activates. It can be very, very painful. In fact, it can even cause PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And there are people who have reported encounters and they have nightmares about it. They don't go back into the woods. They avoid it at all costs. Those are the people often that walk completely around our booth, never engage. So because here's the question, and this is what I found myself asking when my own paradigm was challenged. If what I believe is truth isn't truth, then who am I as a person? Because that means I'm not who I thought I am. Case in point, if what I believed about God isn't really the truth, then what I believed about me also is not true. And so what does that make me? And that caused a lot of trauma. And that actually did have everything to do with my journey into cryptid research. Anyway, however, if we can navigate through that, if someone can navigate through that, it does lead us to a point of choice where we can choose the blue pill and go back to sleep and pretend it never happened, which some people do. Or we can take the red pill and wake up and leave the matrix of social engineering, Mike Prine, of cultural conditioning, of brainwashing. And then we can really start to put something new together for ourselves. Okay, so do we have another commercial that we can play?
We do.
Awesome.
Oh. This is Hannah killing time. No, just kidding. Do I have another thing coming up? Oh yeah. I don't know where it went though.
Hello, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Hannah here from Squatch America, and we want to welcome you to Cloudcroft, New Mexico, where mystery meets adventure. Introducing the Bigfoot Encounter Museum, the ultimate destination for all cryptozoology enthusiasts and adventure seekers. Step into a world shrouded in legend and intrigue, where the mysterious stories of Bigfoot come to life. Our museum is a treasure trove of artifacts, exhibits, and interactive displays that delve into the fascinating history and folklore surrounding this legendary creature. Get ready to embark on an immersive journey through time, exploring the captivating tales of eyewitness accounts, footprint casts, compelling documentaries, and so much more. You'll be amazed as you unravel the mysteries and evidence surrounding this elusive and enigmatic creature. Whether you're a skeptic or a true believer, the Bigfoot Encounter Museum in Cloudcroft, New Mexico promises an unforgettable adventure for all ages. Come and create lasting memories as you immerse yourself in the world of Bigfoot lore. Plan your visit today and uncover the secrets of Bigfoot at the Cloudcroft Bigfoot Encounter Museum. Your journey into the unknown awaits. Cloudcroft Bigfoot Encounter Museum. Discover the legend. Experience the mystery.
Mongo only pawn in game of life.
So, are you ready to not be a pawn in the game of life? I think to do that, you have to take the red pill.
That's it.
You can't see the comments, though. You never go back to the comments.
Okay.
All right. So, anyway, so if you choose the red pill, that's where the real work starts. And that's, I think, why we all keep coming back to channels like Squatch America and all the others, because at this point, if what I thought was true really isn't true. If I thought who I was, it was really not who I am. then where are those answers? And that's where we really get to whoa, that's totally the wrong, don't worry. Okay,
Yeah.
see all this crap here?
That's the first slide again.
That's the first slide again. So I told you I had 42 minutes to do this. So no, don't go back. I'm not ready for that. So this is still in development. So conscious thought construction. Let's just talk about conscious thought construction. When we are programmed from birth to believe and act a certain way, it becomes very unconscious, meaning that the actions and the actions we do and the words we speak and the thoughts we think, it's like an iceberg, and it's like 10%. And that's our conscious, I'm going to say this, I'm going to think this, I'm going to do this. The rest, what's driving all those programs is stuff that we never even see. We don't even know what's going on. But once we go down the rabbit hole of that red pill and we really start deconstructing everything that we've been fed our entire lives, we can start deciding consciously, okay, why do I think this? Why did I think this was true? What led me to believe this? What led me to consider this truth? What are some other possibilities? What else could be true? And when we start asking those questions and realizing that questioning and curiosity is not a threat. I remember the first time that I didn't go to church on a Sunday, and then I didn't go to church for a second Sunday. And then about a year later, I hadn't gone to church yet, and I was still breathing. No lightning had fallen from the sky. I wasn't sad and miserable. In fact, life was going pretty well. I remember 3 months after I quit my day job in 2020 in favor of living this adventurous life where we have no idea what's going to happen from day to day. No idea how we're going to pay next month's bills. We just try to make it happen. And I wasn't having panic attacks anymore. I was like in a better place than I was when I was living by this constructed, brainwashed set of expectations. You know, when we start realizing that the questions actually don't have threat involved, but they could lead to a lot of freedom, it really frees our minds to look at what's possible. So think about ways, and Michelle said earlier that you've got to keep your mind open because things are not always what you thought or were told. And that's so, so true. And Mike Prine talks about social engineering. And yes, social engineering is very real. I am a master of social work, which means I'm a master of community organization, which means I'm a master of Marxist communism. Ooh. And I know all about social engineering, and that's exactly what's happening right now in the world. And even things like Bigfoot is just a myth is part of. And it's also part of everything is a hoax. That's also a bit of social engineering. It's another example of people going, I don't care about what you present me. Everything's a hoax. If you are a person who thinks that everyone's out there hoaxing Bigfooters, and that's a normal thing, you've been socially conditioned to believe that. And here's why. Here are the applications of cryptid research. So, applications in cryptid research. See, I'm going to be done so early.
That's okay.
So we can kill time.
I've got discussion stuff.
Oh, good.
In my head.
Oh, great. So
I've been quiet. You told me.
Oh, that means you've been thinking.
I've been saving.
All right. So when we shed the constrictions of a paradigm, shedding the constrictions of paradigm opens the mind to new possibilities. We can ask new questions. We can formulate new hypotheses. We can conduct objective research that reduces our bias. Did you know? Now, we are diehard objective scientists, which means we always try to prove ourselves wrong. But did you know that if you go out assuming that everything is a hoax, that you are operating from a point of bias? And you are automatically filtering everything through everything is a hoax. And so you will see everything is a hoax. That's actually called the reticular activating system. It's like when we bought our outdoors RV, all of a sudden we saw outdoors RV rigs everywhere.
Or like, yeah, when you buy a new truck or you buy a new car, you start
Yeah.
seeing the car that you bought everywhere, but you never noticed them before.
Yeah. Like, did we notice all the F-350 dualies on the road?
No.
Now we do.
Mhm.
So, because now we filter out for what's familiar, for what's what, what's important to us. And so everything's a hoax. That's a bias. Everything's a Squatch. That's a bias. But when we shed the constriction of paradigm, when we shed our worldview and open our mind, all of a sudden our bias is reduced. We can do more objective research. We can ask better questions. I love Occam's razor. And Occam's razor says that two things. The most obvious answer is usually the most correct. But when you rule out the obvious and the simple, then what is impossible becomes more probable. And for me, when I ruled out the idea that life could only exist on this planet, because remember, we were created in 6 days and humanity is the pinnacle of all creation. When I finally let that go, all of a sudden it opened me up to so many different possibilities in the universe. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit trail tonight, but it has everything to do with all sorts of cryptid research. If in fact we are not the pinnacle of the natural order, if in fact this universe is far broader and grander and more mysterious than we could ever think, if in fact there's more to discover, then there's more to discover. And that makes the possibility of Bigfoot and who knows what else all the more probable. It reduces the fear factor, particularly in the asking of questions. I think I'm able to ask far more questions now than I ever could before. And it reduces the fear of hearing the answers. I remember the first time you had me listening to Art Bell. That's another story. But I was listening to Art Bell for the first time in my life, and I was terrified because he was talking about things that I had never even considered. And it scared me to death. And there are a couple times that Jeremy's show has kind of left me going, and those are areas that I dive into. And it's like, okay, let's ask some good questions here. And so it reduces our fear and it increases our curiosity. If we are not curious about the unknown, we will never know the answers, and we will never move forward in our understanding of the natural order or of ourselves. And I think that is the most important thing in Bigfoot research, not just understanding the nature of what is Sasquatch, how does he live and all that, but for me as a sociologist, as a behavioral expert, if you want to call me that, when I'm looking at humanity, it helps answer the question, where do we fit into the universal picture? So that's where belief intersects with all this. And I would encourage all of us to really think about, what do I believe? Why do I believe it? Why is it so important for me to believe it? What is that belief protecting inside of me? And be willing to go there and be willing to say, maybe what I believed isn't as helpful as I thought it was. And maybe I could go forward in my own understanding of things if I was curious about something outside this boat. I was once challenged by a pastor of mine. As you can tell, I grew up very religious. I was very religious for a very long time. And this pastor but even back then there were hints that maybe all was not quite orthodox in Hannah's little universe. Because this pastor looked at me once and said, you are one of those people that likes to step outside the boat and try to walk on the water. You want to know what's outside the boat. And I would just encourage you to stay in the boat where it's safer.
Mhm.
You run into a lot of stuff that might not be awesome outside the boat. And I never did too well with that because it's true. I do like to step outside the boat and try to walk on the water. And if I sink, well, I swim pretty well. But anyway, that's what I've got tonight. This is definitely something that I want to put more thought into and really develop a much better presentation. But that's what you get when you only get 42 minutes to prepare.
Yeah.
So there we are.
So, yeah, I have never been the boat guy. I've always stepped off the boat and my whole life.
And he usually chops up the boat for firewood. And
yeah, it doesn't matter.
he'd strand us on the island.
Yeah, just for fun. So there's something that I wanted to add to this is and Raptor kind of triggered this early on. He put this in the chat. How do we know Bigfoot eat deer? How do we know Bigfoot does tree structures? How do we know Bigfoot makes tree knocks without video evidence of them? Well, I don't have to see the air to breathe it.
And be careful. I don't have to see God to believe.
Well, there's that too. But what I do know is first, maybe you need to search the internet a little bit because there's videos of Bigfoot drowning deer. But you got to believe that
You have to shed the bias.
you have to shed the bias that it was a hoax. That some dude in a Bigfoot costume grabbed a deer by the neck and was holding its head underwater.
10,000 feet up a mountain.
Yeah.
Off trail.
Yeah. So.
And that's one of the reasons why two people can look at the same picture.
Mm-hmm.
One person will see Bigfoot, the other person will see pareidolia, depending on their paradigm.
Mm-hmm. And there is pareidolia. Don't get me wrong. That happens. But there's thousands of reports, and not everybody. From the amount of reports in the world, I mean literally thousands of them. And we get hundreds all the time. Like I can't pull into a gas station every single day and somebody will tell me their Bigfoot story. So there's literally, I would say, million or more people in the United States that's had Bigfoot encounters and just haven't told people, or have told people and nobody believes them. There isn't millions of people hoaxing in the woods.
So talk about that question there. Everything is a hoax other than Patty walking. There's no other videos of Bigfoot doing any other thing.
How do we know the prints are real?
Where's the bullshit thing? Because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
We have tons.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
Because we do. We've seen the enhanced footage of Paul Freeman's film. There is tons of video out there. Here's the thing. Why do you think everything's a hoax? That is a bias.
That's a bias.
And so you will see hoaxing everywhere, whether it's a hoax or not.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that we know not everything is a hoax is because we find prints, we find tree structures, we find all these things where humans don't go unless you're nuts like us.
Yeah.
Not everybody lives in
and we find them where humans do go, but why would somebody hoax something in the middle of the woods somewhere
where no one's going to find it?
No, nobody's going to, or where there's a 1 in a billion chance of somebody finding it.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And that's Occam's razor at work.
Right.
Like when you hike 5 miles off trail where nobody goes, like deep in the Olympic project, where no one goes except for the dedicated few researchers. And by the way, those spots are not public knowledge.
Mhm.
They're kept very secret. I mean, our whole camp out in September is we've got the coordinates, and maybe 3 other people have the coordinates, and that's it. That's all gonna have it. So how would someone, go hiking 5 miles off trail in the snow and put on a Bigfoot suit that doesn't look real anyway, and
Mm.
and then put a print that has all the morphology and weird toe structures and all the things, and it sinks, 2 feet into the ground, which is impossible for a human. That's Occam's razor. We don't believe all the hokum on the internet either, but not
Yeah.
everything on the internet is hokum.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to suspend your disbelief and start asking yourself those questions.
Mhm.
We all do. Why do I believe this and such and blah, blah, blah? Why is it important that I believe that? What is that protecting me from? Why do I need protected from that? Because remember, our beliefs and our paradigms are there to protect us. So what are
Mhm.
they protecting us from? And do we really need protected from that?
Yeah. So I have one of the reasons I kind of got into anthropology and studying the evolution of human beings. And
Here's a curious question. I know where he's going.
where do you know where I'm going?
Why are we the only creatures?
Yeah. What?
I
Yeah.
told you, I just had this conversation.
Yeah. You ever think about this, folks? If you look at us, Homo sapiens,
Homo sapiens
Homo
sapiens.
sapiens,
Which differs from Homo sapiens.
yeah, us Homo sapiens sapiens. You ever ask yourself this question? Why are we the only creature on this
Think
planet?
about it.
Think about it. Why are we the only creature on this planet that can't survive
Its environment.
its environment? People often ask me, well, do you think Bigfoot builds fires? And I'm like, no, they don't. And they said, well, then how do they stay warm? Well, here's the thought. You're applying human characteristics to a natural animal. And that's something we got to be very careful about. Like when we're studying Bigfoot, not applying the human dynamics to a Bigfoot. You can't project yourself onto them. They don't need to. Do bears need to wear a coat in the winter? I see deer, I see elk, wolves, coyotes. They all live fine in deep snow and 0-degree weather, or even minus 11-degree weather, where I have actually backpacked and slept in a hammock at minus 11 and saw a coyote. So why are we the only creature on this planet that can't survive naked in the woods? You got to think about that.
It is deep.
Mm-hmm.
And there are hoaxers out there, but they're few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other reason why I know that to be true from a behavioral science perspective. I'm going to say something profound.
Oh, no. All right, hold on. Get ready, folks. Here it comes.
Humans are lazy asses.
Okay.
I'm telling
that's
you.
more common knowledge than most.
Yeah, it is common knowledge. Humans do nothing but find the easiest route possible. We hate expending energy.
Well, that's natural world too.
Well,
that
yes,
energy costs.
But especially these days, we are so lazy. We generally, as a species, are not nourished enough to go out there and pull off a decent hoax. We aren't, because I can guarantee enormous elephant man feet tracks are not being found in the Olympics. They're not being found in the North Main woods. They're not being found anywhere that Bigfoot is going to genuinely habitate because you can't get them up there. You can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it.
And yes, there is proof of Raptor's asking, yes, animal growth thicker hair. Is there proof?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We've got
hundreds
of hair samples. And nobody believes that they're real. So
again, belief. See, there's the belief. You can present, and what is that?
I can present you. They have these big dreadlocks, and we have a lot of people who say, "My gosh, the hair was matted. It was huge."
That's the fight mode. I don't care what you present me. I'm not going to go for this. La 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 la. You know. You know. I'm not going to accept this as truth until I see a body on a table. And just remember, Raptor, no video footage anymore or photo footage will ever be considered true evidence because of the ability to manipulate it.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, AI really sucks. AI is not as as they think.
Yeah. In fact, I'm thinking of going back to. Well, here's my problem. My grandfather, and I have it, has an old 8mm film camera that you can video with, and it really takes pretty good video. And it's not digital, it's film. So what the camera sees is what you get.
And actually, I would say that those like Paul Freeman stuff and Patterson Gimlin,
that was on film too.
That was far more authentic footage than what we'll ever get on. I mean, we've shown you his picture.
Yeah.
And y'all said, well, a lot of you said, hey, that was some random guy and a doll that just happened to be 200 feet below where he was going to be hiking, just hanging out, pretending to be Bigfoot in an illegal
in a place they didn't know that I was going to go.
In a watershed area where it's illegal to be, but they just happened to be there at the same time, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
So what I was saying with the film camera, I went and looked and see we can still get Kodak film for it. It cost $44 a reel for the film, which gives you 3 minutes of video. So to go back in time is expensive.
Yeah. And Terrell says perhaps people are not mere animals, perhaps a discussion for another day. Yes, and that reflects a particular paradigm, because I know where you're going with that, Terry. And I have a particular angle that I like to look at it from too. I mean, we all have lenses, and the question is, can you question your lens? Can you question the lens through which you look and not be terrified?
Yeah.
And that's the scary part.
And that's when you take the red pill.
That's when you take the red pill.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, anything fun?
Nope.
I think my little mini college lecture drove some people out.
Yeah, I saw that. So anyway, there was one thing I do want to not throw up, but present.
Some people might want to throw up at this point.
Where did it go?
And here's something that doesn't help. If you want the research, go out and do the research. We've been advertising this science fair for how long? And we've gotten nothing.
Yeah. So I want to throw this out to anybody, and I'm going to start throwing this out at the Bigfoot conferences. I forgot to throw this slide in my presentation in Forks, but what we're doing is a Bigfoot science fair. We started it April 1st, it's going through October 1st. And what we need to do is, if you have any great ideas on how to capture evidence that we can prove, like maybe a film camera that works longer than 3 minutes and doesn't cost thousands of dollars to get an hour's worth of video, or whatever, come up with your idea.
Get
creative, do a little video about it, or email us about it.
That's how the Nutella trap came to be. Someone got creative with Velcro and a PVC pipe and a jar of Nutella.
Yeah. And got some evidence.
Yep.
And so anyway, just email it to squatchamerica@gmail.com.
Yeah. Don't wait for someone else to go out there and do the research. Get it. We all need to get off our collective arses and do it. Yeah. So is there a test after this? The test is, what do you believe? Why do you believe it? And what is it protecting you from? Because that's the question. Our beliefs are designed to protect us. You can show our faces again, darling.
Oh, I forgot our faces. Boop.
Our beliefs are there. They're programmed into us to protect us from danger, from perceived danger. And so what is the perceived danger that your belief is protecting you from? And that is really where science begins. Where belief ends, science begins. And magic is science that we haven't figured out yet. The only way we're going to figure it out is if we start shedding belief and start asking those questions and go forth with curiosity.
So
we do put a camera on our chest and back.
We do, by the way.
Do you watch all our videos?
I have a 360-degree camera I put on my backpack.
There's a question. Why are your batteries always dead? Right after you charge them, we go out into the woods and then they're dead.
Because Bigfoot's an alien and he has EMPs.
Yeah. If someone can answer that question for us, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
with that said, what else do we have? Do we have anything else?
What do you believe? Does it really matter? Perceived danger may not be a reality. Those are great thoughts.
Yep.
I heard a great quip the other day. Fear is fiction or fantasy experienced as real. How many people were afraid of a virus that they didn't need to be afraid of?
Now you just got us demonetized. Okay.
I don't care. You care? Your best video of all times has made us $6 over the year.
Yeah, exactly. So
anyway, if someone's concerned about that, you can throw a super thanks in there.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you very much, folks. Tonight we got a couple minutes to wrap this up.
All right. So as always, please like and subscribe. Thanks for putting up with us. And remember, our job is to investigate the end.
Hold on. Before you go there, come see us on the train.
Elgin.
And then
Saturday.
Get your behinds up to Medellin Falls for the festival. Not this weekend, but the weekend after. And
Father's Day weekend.
Father's
Day trip.
And to, who was it in the chat? Greg, we're coming to Idaho. Just letting you know.
We'll keep you in touch.
We'll keep in touch. If you don't know where we're going to be, please go to squatchamerica.com, sign up for our email list to stay in touch.
We also have an events calendar. That is sometimes up to date.
Yeah. So now
our job is to investigate the unexplained,
not to explain the uninvestigated.
So like, subscribe, share this video, ask yourself the deep questions, and
go out and find Bigfoot.
Bye.
Bye.
That damn Sasquatch.